Hello, my name's James Busby. I've been hairdressing for just over 20 years and I love having conversations with people. The video you're about to see is a conversation between my client and myself. We talk through ultramarathons, ending up in hospital and just living life in general, as well as watching the journey of his haircut from start to finish. I hope you enjoy the video. Right, so we're growing this out.
Yeah.
And do you want to do anything to this, or do you just want to let that do its thing and I'll just literally remove all the weight and make it like a softer haircut so you can grow it through?
Yeah, you do.
Because it will feel a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
But it's just because your hair's so thick and so strong, it's just to soften it so it starts to sit flat and a bit more of a shape. So you're kind of pushing it over and then it sort of grow back and sort of down and then all this come out. And then what I'll do is I'll tidy all this.
Yeah.
I'll lift your hairline and I'll sort of take all this a bit tidy so it starts to do its thing, yeah? So really I'm going to take weight out. So it will feel a tiny bit shorter on the top, but it's what it needs to like do its thing, you know?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Mate, perfect. Yeah. That's why I came to you, because it's just, you tell me what needs to be done and do it. And that's, because I don't know, because I've never been through this stage, Steve.
No, yeah.
So when I wake up in the morning, I look like Edward Scissorhands. Do you know, it's crazy, it's mad. Yeah, mate, it's mental. I have to, you just have to put so much water through it to get it to lay back down.
We just get so strong here. Now what I say about relaxing it, you haven't had like the chemical put on when they straighten it out, have you?
No.
This is just all your natural hair.
Yeah.
And what's the longest you've got your hair?
This is the longest it's been.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've never persisted with it this long, and the only reason I've persisted with it this long is because of the hat. I've got like 4 or 5 of them hats.
Yeah.
So, because otherwise it's too unmanageable.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's just way too I look like Djokovic. Like it's just like a microphone.
It's just like a helmet of hair.
Yeah, and like it was kind of like, if I can grow it long enough to pin it back, it will actually look shorter than when I was having it cut short.
Yeah.
Because getting it cut short grows so fast. I was getting it cut every week.
Really?
2 weeks, yeah, because I like it tight.
Mate. Well, that's what Carl always used to say when he cut your sides, like proper clipped them. They just grow out straight away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just, yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Really? Where were you getting it cut?
Well, I was getting it cut. I went really short.
Yeah.
So I just got it done by one of the lads at the gym. Had like, it was really smart. It was short and smart, not like a sharp fade, but like done quite. You could say like calmly. Didn't like soft. It was a bit softer.
Kind of like a nice gem, like northern sort of haircut.
Yeah, like Will Smith in The Fresh Prince, isn't it?
Oh really? Is it like that?
No, that's
what you feel like.
That's what I didn't want.
Yeah. It's just like a generic haircut, isn't it?
Yeah. So I went to see him, and he kind of like kept it short and nice and soft, and not
a bit
too
more
sharp.
tailored as a haircut.
Yeah. So I was just getting it done by him really, and then I just said to him, I might not be seeing you in a while because I'm going to try and grow it.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen him since really, and then the difference between a hairdresser and a barber, isn't there?
Always, mate, yeah.
So that's what
well, it's just, I mean, not now. I mean, a lot more barbers now are getting a lot more clued up with things. But lots of the boys I do that have their sides cut by barbers are like, yeah, it's cool. And then as soon as they try and do the top, and I'm doing particular to the top, it's just never right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that's just one of those things, because it's more of like taking a hairdressing aspect and sort of applying that to more detailed thing for like the top of men's hair, basically.
My mum's a hairdresser, see? She was, all of her life. Yeah,
yeah.
That's what she had her own salon.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but she doesn't do it now because she's got arthritis in her hands.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so she's always said, it's a big difference.
Oh, massively, mate. But she cut your hair before then?
No.
Or she just wouldn't want it?
We used to row, yeah.
Oh, really? Well, I do that.
Yeah, because she would want one thing that she thinks looks good for me, and then I would want my own thing, and then she's like, no, it don't look good, I ain't doing
it's
that.
just it's not worth it,
Yeah,
it's not worth the aggro. So you've moved out of James and Russell's, haven't you?
Yeah.
Anymore, yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you now?
I'm in Chertsey.
Oh, nice.
No, it's lovely round Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea well nice. You stood on your bike and stuff.
Funny you say that. I got paid out for that last week. Yes, about six months ago.
Yeah.
Woman pulled off a dual carriageway onto the roundabout. I was on the roundabout.
On your road bike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just hit me over the roundabout.
Oh mate.
Yeah.
What, bad?
Yeah.
What?
She like snapped my bike. Yeah, and or like I ruined all my clothes, and I got a massive scar on my left hand side of my like hip.
Did you have to go to hospital?
No, it's quite funny actually. She hit me, and afterwards, like after it happened,
Yeah.
I was trying to calm her down.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, mate.
Yeah,
It's a shock to her, isn't it?
Yeah, she
Well,
was.
that's a good thing. At least you were all right. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
To do that.
Yeah, so I calmed her down. We pulled over the car, and I said, "Look, I'm an honest person. I'm genuinely not injured. I mean, I've got like cuts and bruises and stuff, but I was okay. I was just going to say, like, obviously, the bike, on the other hand, isn't." And she said, "Oh, I'll pay for everything." But I don't think she was aware of the
How
cost.
much the bike was?
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, well, it was like a felt road bike, so
Right, yeah.
it's worth like a couple of grand.
Yeah. That's
So
what I mean. Like most people, a bike 600 quid maybe.
Yeah.
Not like 2.5, 3. Those are, yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, it's very kind. I said, they're genuinely not, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
But I said to her, like, look, I won't be claiming for injury or anything. But it probably will have to go through your insurance. I don't think you'd be willing to pay that really. 'Cause it would be more than what your excess is. So she dropped me home. I made her a cup of tea because obviously that's a dumb thing to do with people in shock.
Yeah.
We sat, exchanged details, and then yeah, just the insurance companies are not the easiest to deal with.
No, never, no.
Car. I didn't ever speak to actually get through to the claim handler once in 6 months.
Really?
Yeah, calling every week. Didn't speak to anyone.
And what do they just pay for the cost of the bike?
Yeah.
Nice.
I had to take my bike down.
So you haven't had a bike since then, or you just went and got another one?
No, I haven't had one since.
So you waited for that to go and get one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I haven't got one at the moment because that was only last week. But I had to go down to a bike shop and take my bike in, and then he had to give me like for like cost estimate.
Oh, okay.
He wrote that in a letter, and then I sent that off to the insurance company.
Yeah. Show you like how long did that take then in total?
6 months.
Really?
Yeah.
What, to get it?
Yeah.
Always slow, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and that's only for the bike. Like I never, because that was such a long process. Like I haven't claimed for, I'm not being funny. The bib shorts that you wear, I wear them under a pair of shorts, but I mean they're 250 quid, so they're ripped.
Yeah.
But then I got my shorts over the top of that, which were ripped, which were my Montaigne shorts, so they're another 100 quid.
Yeah.
Then you got your t-shirt, your hoodie.
Yeah. I mean, where do you draw the line, really?
Exactly.
Because a lot of people really abuse like insurances, don't they?
Yeah.
Which is, is what it is. They're going to be intense about it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And no one wants to pay anything out, do they? So, just like, unfortunately, I mean, just lucky to not be hurt, really. That's the main thing.
Exactly.
And then it's like, oh, actually, this and this I've not got now, so...
The thing is well, you can kind of lose sight as who you are as a person when you go down that road.
Do you think so?
Like, if you start trying to claim for like injury that isn't an injury.
Your integrity goes.
Yeah.
And that's just not good energy, is it?
I just
going
don't-
out there, really.
Exactly, yeah,
It's
for
the
your
thing
own
we know from
mindset.
doing all the things, all the ayahuasca stuff, it's like you start to be more aware of those things. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, actually, that's going to negatively affect me in the future or now, so I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I totally see what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
People get sort of caught up on it, don't they? Like the world owes them something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, like forgiveness and things like that, like looking at forgiveness for you.
Yeah. And obviously as well, like that lady drove into you, and you can react one of like 2 or 3 ways, can't you? So it's best just to be like, it's fine, it's all good, chill, and that's it, isn't it?
Mate, there's a taxi driver who saw it all, and he was going absolutely Garrity at her.
Really?
Yeah, and I turned around to him and went, mate.
On the monitoring.
I was like, leave her alone.
Really? Was she like an older lady? Was she on her own? Was she?
Yeah, she was on her own. She was an older lady. She
Yeah.
had 2 baby car seats in the back.
Oh yeah, you see, you're just not, what are you going to do? Just...
Exactly.
This is the other thing, you don't know what's going on in people's heads.
I
as
know.
Well. Like, I know it's bad with car accidents and stuff, but you just don't know, do you? So.
Don't know what day people have had.
Mate, 100%, like 100%. Like you really don't. You've got to really sort of step into that mindset, haven't you? Because everyone's got something going on, regardless of how big or how small it may seem. It still affects them, so you've got to sort of allow that to be a thing, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to be as non-reactive to your emotions as possible.
100%. 100%. So what bike can you get? You can get the same?
I don't know what I'm going to do at the minute. Like, I said to the guy that gave me the letter, I was like, look, really, really grateful for this. If I am going to get a bike, I will get it through you.
Yeah.
Where'd you go? Down to Spokes in Bagshot.
Oh, no,
There's a guy down there, yeah.
Cool, yeah.
But just at the moment, it's just, you're kind of a little, you know, crikey, I've been in hospital like 3 times from running ultras.
You have?
Yeah.
Really, what happened?
Just pushing myself a bit mad, and so the
what's an ultra? Hundreds?
Yeah, some of them are.
What
Yeah.
classifies? What classes?
Anything over a marathon.
Oh, is that all it is?
Yeah. So I run
right.
27 miles. Then you've done one, but the
Oh,
ones,
right.
all the ones that I've done are they've all been 100 plus, 100
Yeah.
miles. Yeah.
And where have you done it?
Done North Downs, South Downs. There's ones around Box Hill.
Yeah.
A couple of trail ones in Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good ones up around the Lake District and all of that. Like, you can do your own ones as well. Wales are good ones, really good ones. But yeah, I ran one of them during COVID.
Yeah.
I didn't realise until I woke up in hospital, but I ran it with food poisoning.
Did you?
Yeah, so I didn't sleep the night before and was being sick and all over the place. So I think it was one of the hottest days of the year.
Yeah.
And then at mile 4, I think I was sick on the race and just couldn't keep any fluids down or any food down. And then I got to, I think it was mile 98.
Mile 98 from 4?
Yeah.
And you were, so you were 4, you were sick?
At 4 I was sick, yeah.
And then 98, you were like, right, I'm gonna keel over.
I woke up, yeah.
Mate.
Yeah, I woke up in resuscitation. Yeah.
You take it to another level, don't you?
Yeah.
You always take it to another level.
Yeah.
So you woke up in hospital?
Yeah, I woke up in hospital, yeah. Yeah, and I ended up doing 12 drips.
No.
Yeah, drank about 4 litres, and on my, I think it was my 4th or 5th day in hospital, was the first time I went for a pee.
Really? What, because you were that dehydrated?
Yeah, just electrolyte balance off, potassium balance off, retaining no fluids, no food. And when I eventually, you know, because they gave me like this potty thing to go for a week, so they needed to analyse my kidney function. When they gave it to me, obviously, after like 4 or 5 days being in there, I managed to pee in it.
Yeah.
Mate, it was, yeah, I started crying, mate, when my urine.
Really?
Yeah. Mate.
Right, because you were just so...
Oh, mate, when it came out, I mean, you don't mind me being graphic.
Maybe graphic is fine. Go on then.
Yeah. It was black.
Yeah.
And it was lumps.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
Because you literally, your body was just resetting itself and clearing itself out.
Yeah. Where?
Did that not hurt?
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
It's almost like not kidney stones, but like that sort of.
It was muscle. They said it was
muscle.
So they say like is what's happening is where your body's been trying to shut down.
Yeah.
So it like, I don't know what the correct phrase is, whether it's catabolic or whatever. So it starts deteriorating muscle or kidney function or whatever.
Yeah.
And it starts to excrete like tissue.
Right.
So your body starts trying to get rid of to create less stress on the actual body, on the heart.
Right. So just trying to help basically keep you alive, basically.
Yeah.
Everything we do to our bodies is like we're just trying to keep you alive.
Yeah, and then my mind's going, no, you're gonna finish, keep going,
Right.
going, crawling up hills which I should be running up, and just in the world.
Were you? Is there? How many people are sort of around at this moment? Like, is obviously there's other people running, but is there many marshals? Like,
This
how
was-
long do you know how long you sort of passed out for before someone came to you? Was that
No.
quite quick or?
No, I don't. I know that it was during COVID.
Yeah.
It was one of the only races that was being held open during the start of COVID. So when I was in hospital, they weren't running the aircon units, and it was like the hottest time of the year because
Oh, really?
because of the circulation of the
Yeah,
virus.
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the couple of the consultants couldn't believe that I wasn't leaving with dialysis.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, that's what you could have done to yourself.
that's what they told me was going to happen.
What, you just destroy your kidney function?
Yeah, they were
That's
like,
it.
your kidneys are done. Like, there's no way you're
What,
leaving.
and in terms of like, would they repair or like you're gonna need a kidney transplant in the future? Is that what they thought, or what did they?
Yeah, that's the conversation that the consultant had. I was like,
Bloody hell.
what's
What?
the-
Because you're so dehydrated and you just push yourself.
Yeah, just because I was, like, done so much damage to myself running. Like, I shouldn't have really, like, left the house that day. And I went out and ran, like, 90 plus miles with not being able to take anything on board.
Mate, that's mad.
It's stupid, mate. It's so
Are
stupid.
you alright now?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was, my family weren't too happy with me.
No, they're not. Did they contact them? Well, in hospital or not?
Yeah, obviously they weren't allowed to come in and see me, and just because of COVID regulations back then.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So they're just annoyed because you self-inflicted, basically.
Yeah, they were just like,
You could have been prevented if you hadn't have done. Yeah.
yeah, like, you just need to,
You
basically,
went full like Dave Goggins then, basically.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like running on broken legs or broken shins or whatever he did. Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? That's like just absolutely pushing your body to the limit.
Yeah, so I've done a few like since just to get like rid of the demons of. I think the last one I did was ended up being 104 miles,
Really?
and yeah. It was,
How long does that take you? Like, well, what should that take you in terms of like you're fit enough, you're strong enough? How long should that take you
Well,
to
that
complete
one-
something like that?
That one was. It wasn't just the length; it was the elevation.
Yeah,
So it's like 30,000 feet of climbing in there.
yeah.
So that's. I mean,
These are all UK, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like Everest is 33,000 feet.
Right.
So that I think that was just shy of 30, somewhere around there. I think.
Really?
Can't remember. Yeah, and I did that one, and I was running for 29 hours.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, I genuinely didn't stop. The aid station, I just refueled and kept going. I didn't sit down.
Are you what? So what sort of calorie? What are you kind of losing calorie wise in that?
Cool.
You monitoring it or not?
Not monitoring how much I was losing, but
Like you must have you must know like because obviously, you know, I went for a serious run yesterday, and I was like, oh, I'm starving now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like 40-minute run, like proper long for me, and then it's like you've got to be eating something, or there's going to be a point where you're like, oh, you just can't carry on.
yeah, I think the science equates to around about 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrates per hour.
Right. Okay.
So I'd make sure I'd
Well,
take
on that sort of run.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was staying in between that, but obviously having protein and fats as well. So just making sure I was over consuming, if anything.
Yeah.
But your body's in such a state of stress that it doesn't, regardless of how bioavailable the food is,
Yeah.
with the cortisol elevation and not being parasympathetic or whatever they say it is, you know, because you're moving, you obviously don't actually absorb a lot of it. So it's better to be like an insurance program. It's better to just give it a bit too much and not enough.
Yeah, you're in a state of stress anyway, so
Yeah.
just get on with it.
Yeah, just make sure you're having that as a baseline minimal.
Yeah, you just avoid passing out basically.
Yeah.
And do you know how many people were in it? And is there like a percentage of people that tend to complete it, or?
Yeah. So I think there was around about 100 that did the last one I did, and it was only, I think, me and two others that finished.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And what sort of, do you know the amount of people that got close into it, or are they sort of giving up? There must be a certain point where a lot of people sort of go, right, I'm done, I'm tapping out.
Yeah, usually the 100k mark, so like the 60-mile mark.
Yeah.
It's usually like people start breaking, or people realise they've gone out a bit hard, or
Yeah, you just run like 2 and a bit marathons. Yeah.
yeah. So I broke my phone on the first lap.
You broke it.
I put it in my pack, and where it was rubbing up against me, where I was running,
Just bash it.
the screen was facing my skin.
Right.
So it entered the iPhone passlock code wrong constantly. So it completely disabled my phone.
I disabled it?
Yeah, like, but
what, for like hours?
no, completely locked it, because
Oh, yeah, you've done it so many times.
so many times, whether it's 1 or 2 laps, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I had to get a new phone afterwards, because it completely, like, Apple wipe it, don't they? If it's been
Is that what they did?
attempted so many times,
Right.
yeah. So then I had to,
Like a protection thing.
yeah. So yeah, I was literally on my own for the whole 29 hours without no distractions, just
What's that like?
running.
That's a meditation in itself, surely.
Yeah. It was. I was grateful for that happening to my phone, because of what it offered me in the run. It was like, right, a real ownership now of, if I don't find this place in my head to go to, there's no way I'm finishing this.
Yeah.
I need to get in there.
It's very
quick.
primal, isn't it? That sort of thing.
Yeah. I need to get that, freedom of thought and emotion, like, to dispel as fast as I can, really, and just get on with this. And it was the shortest concept of time I've ever had in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 29 hours, and it was over. Like,
Really?
I come back round, sat down, finished giving me my medal, and he was like, "How do you feel?" I was like, can't believe it's over.
Yeah.
Like, it's so quick.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I hit my leg on the last lap.
Yeah.
And I thought
Hit your leg?
yeah, I fell over barbed wire, ripped my trainer and smacked my knee.
Is it cross country?
Yeah, it was all cross country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know Box Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's around Box Hill,
Oh, really? You go up Box Hill?
up and down Box Hill. Yeah.
Up and down?
Yeah.
Oh,
And Satan's Staircase. Yeah.
Satan's Staircase?
Yeah, there's
That's
another
good.
part called Satan's Staircase.
Right.
So you do Box Hill and then Satan's Staircase, and it's just laps of that. So they work out. They're just
right. So you're okay. So you're in a certain area that they can sort of manage, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anything happens, it's from a safety perspective. Okay, cool.
Yeah. 10-mile lap.
Wow. Okay.
So
Yeah.
people don't like that because they believe there's no change in scenery.
Yeah.
And it's harder mentally, but for me, I find that a lot easier, because it's manageable. You know,
They haven't
what's
moved
around.
anywhere, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
you
you
know-
always want to run from. I mean, what's 100k? Like running from here to like Brighton, basically, isn't it?
Yeah,
And then you want to do the whole thing. But I'd run from here to Brighton or whatever it is.
yeah. But that one's 100 miles, 104 miles.
What? It's the Brighton.
No, the one that Cockthorne.
Oh, really?
One, yeah. So, but like, because you're doing laps, when you come back, you have your own bag. So I had my own bag at the aid station. So I'd come round and I knew I had everything I wanted to eat in there.
Yeah.
So I'd load up my pack and then set off again, and it was like I wasn't eating stuff that's provided by them, which I haven't really trained my stomach to
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
digest and
Yeah.
things. So
I remember I cycled from years ago. I cycled from Tunbridge Wells to Paris, right? And I did enough training and stuff, but I pushed myself so hard on the third day that I was proper sick, like really unwell, because I just like shocked my body. And same sort of thing. It's like eating things you're not used to, just pushing yourself a little bit further. It's like your body can deal with it. It just needs that little bit of time, doesn't it, to accumulate.
yeah, definitely.
And what sort of, was there like a big range of type of person doing it? Like different sort of ages, sexes, or was it kind of,
I mean,
is it a variety of people?
yeah, I don't plan on doing any again, like for me. But what attracted me was what people are there for.
Right.
You know, it's more of a show of what people can do mentally, and it's quite humbling when you see what some people can push their bodies to, and what kind of manifests out of the mental battles that you have.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's like a severe state of struggling, of suffering rather.
Yeah.
Because you're suffering and there's no way, there's no distraction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can distract yourself with any external browsing the internet or reading a story. You've got to deal with...
You're in the moment, you're present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your mind and your ego are telling you certain things about how pointless this is.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like you get somewhere where you could get with meditation, but you can get there a lot quicker because it's like...
Well, you can get, so you're saying the place you can get to meditation, you get there quicker by running?
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're suffering more.
Right, got you. You're working through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. But it's very the whole Wim Hof thing, isn't it? It's like, it's all in your mind and you can tell your body that you can do lots of different things without even doing the training for some of it.
Yes.
You know, it's all capable, it's all within you. It's just unlocking that energy and that power and like achieving it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, we live in a time where there is so many distractions.
Yeah, it's like I was listening.
You know.
I was listening to Andrew Huberman.
No.
Do you know who he is?
No. I
He's
may have heard the name, yeah.
He's a scientist at Stanford.
Yeah. Is this a Joe Rogan like?
Yeah, he's got his own podcast.
Has he been on Joe Rogan though? Is he one of those characters? Okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah. He reminds me of, do you remember X-Men? And there was the Beast, the Professor.
Yeah.
Like he's all like muscly, but like
he's blue, isn't he?
Yeah, really intellectual.
Yeah.
Reminds me of him because he's got quite a husky voice.
Right.
But he was talking about the mind and muscle connection on one of his podcasts.
Yeah.
With the guy that founded Athlean X, Jeff Cavalier.
Okay, yeah.
And you know, he gets people to focus on not moving the weight, but contracting the muscle.
Right,
through a weight movement.
Right, okay.
And he says the change.
It's not really about the weight; it's about like how you're doing it.
So it's like instead of just moving this weight here, he gets the student to focus on the bicep. So focus on the bicep, and like squeeze the bicep as you do it.
Yeah.
And he says like the change in aesthetics from doing that, from actually using your mind on the muscle instead of just moving away.
Right.
It's like, it's tenfold.
What, just by being present on what's actually happening?
Yeah.
It's a mind-body connection.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I've listened to a few of his, like, his recent one as well. There's one with Dr. Charles Zucker about sugar and cravings.
Yeah, well, it's a bigger drug. It fires more brain cells. It fires more than like cocaine does in your brain, doesn't it? Sugar or something like that. It's like the biggest,
But it's funny, he came from another angle and he said that regardless of the palatability, like what sugar leaves taste in your mouth, regardless of that, sugar when it hits the gut, if you were to have water that was just water and sugared water, but there's no taste difference, because of the survival mechanisms of your gut and your brain, you would always drink the sugar water. Because of what it does, the signal the gut sends to the brain, regardless of what sugar it is, it's that release for the brain to then release, like, because it knows it's getting fed.
Right.
So the cortisol's reduced, stress is reduced.
Right,
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
so you're sort of breaking a fast almost.
Then, so like from a health perspective, obviously you would want whole sources, fruits with the micronutrients and vitamins and minerals, all of these things. You wouldn't want refined sugar.
No.
But from the brain standpoint, it doesn't actually really know the difference to release them signals for the bodily function. And it was quite interesting.
Well, that's the thing, like for me, like that's why, you know, how I think about the world, and you know lots of those things, but it's like people just don't realise this, and then they eat a lot of sugar and they become overweight and have these issues and blah 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 and all the other stuff, and our brains are just can be against you in some ways like that, because in the short term, like you say, survival is great, but now we live in a time where you don't really need to worry about that, so it's like always getting into those motions, isn't it? And then you're like, well, I'm just going to eat loads and loads of donuts. Yeah. And then you're like, but you don't need to, but you just do because of habit and other things, and your body doesn't really tell you otherwise. Yeah. It doesn't really give you any other signals apart from illnesses and overweight and stuff. But
and the initial response.
It's not straight away, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make you sick straight away. Like, I should be doing this.
Yeah, it's like the initial response is the same, but then your body craves that sugar more because it hasn't got the micronutrients.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It only got
100%.
the sugar, so then you crave again, so then you're in this vicious cycle of eating rubbish and not being full.
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing I've been doing. 2 weeks ago, I did a 5-day water fast.
Nice.
So I reset my body, and I'm doing another one today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and just to sort of reset my body a bit, really. And then I've been doing sort of 1 meal a day as well, like starting to get into that. Yeah, OMAD, yeah. And it's like the difference you just see from that, like your eyes go brighter. Do you know what I mean? You start having like a real awareness and like understanding of actually. And you look at food, you're like, well, actually, I don't need to eat that. I don't need to eat that. I don't crave that as much. Like if you want to eat loads of chocolate before, it's like something I'm really bad at. I did the 5-day water fast. I was like, oh, I really want cucumbers.
Yeah.
Because your brain like goes back to that kind of thing, doesn't it? Of what it should.
And it's like, are you eating on the right cues, or are you eating for to create a state of distraction?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, it's boredom, isn't it?
Yeah.
So many people are bored. You know, it's just the time we're living, isn't it? Right, do you want to drive this like straighter, or do you like what it's doing?
What do you think?
I might just flatten it out, like brush it back, and I can just see like shape-wise.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put any product in just for now.
Yeah.
Just because I know what your hair will be like. And I twist a few little bits, and then we'll see that. Does that feel better on your head straight away?
Yeah. It feels lighter.
Yeah, that's all it is of yours. Then like, if you want to grow it longer, we'll just do this every like 6 weeks maybe.
How long will it take to get?
Your hair grows a fingernail a month.
Cool.
So if you want to get it, my sort of length.
Yeah.
I mean,
6 months.
yeah, I'd say Christmas. You probably have you'd have a fairly longish looking haircut. You'd have like a beginning of a Matthew McConaughey haircut.
I see. Yeah.
6 months. I think once yours gets a bit longer, it'll probably be settling quite nicely. Just takes that bit of time.
Yeah.
And then all you really want to put is like a little bit of an oil and a little bit of like a texture spray, and that'll be totally fine. And then it's also like, do you push it over this way? This is kind of how it's passing. So sort of go with that to keep it like sort of untidy, have a bit of direction to it, you know?
Yeah.
What are you doing the rest of today?
It's funny actually. Just before I came here, randomly, someone I haven't spoken to in, I can't remember the last time I saw him, Jack Bateman.
Oh really?
Yeah, called me.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I probably haven't, I've seen like, I was like, God, this is mad, I'm seeing you.
Yeah.
Who I haven't seen in how long? And then Jack
ages.
called me before I'm coming here.
Oh really? Great.
Yeah. So random.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to see James.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, say hello.
It all links up, mate.
Yeah, it's
Because
crazy.
do you know my mate James Ogley? No. He nearly bought a house, and it was Jack's sister's house.
Oh wow!
How random is that?
That is
And everything just like links up all the time, and it's like people that sort of know each other and stuff like that. It's like, all right. There's always some sort of link, isn't there, somewhere?
Yeah.
And it all kind of comes together in the end.
So I might pop over and see him.
Yeah. Back to the old school.
Yeah. What have you been up to recently, anyway?
Literally just obviously selling the salon and then building all this new stuff. So building like the online education like platform and stuff, and doing I've done like a product line as well. So like a hair product line. I'm just getting that through soon. So that'll all be good. And then just building on top of that all the sort of online stuff really. That's all I've been focusing on, and then just living life, you know.
Oh, wicked.
Looking after 3 boys and keeping Keely happy and all the rest of it.
Yeah, how is it? How is
Yeah, all
Keely
good,
and
mate.
lads?
All good, yeah. River's 9, Bodie's 6, and the Winter's 4. Yeah, so it's mad. And now, like, so Winter obviously goes to school in September. So it's like all our kids are at school. So it's like a whole nother like stage you then step into.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's obviously no nappies, no like all that. Your family takes on a different. You don't need buggies anymore. You can start to have like a nicer car or nicer things.
Yeah.
They're not going to get as trashed as much, and there's not as many toys, and do you know what I mean?
Just when you forget how to do all of that, now you've got to do it again.
Yeah, you kind of like your life just goes to like another stage, which is nice and good for everyone, really.
Yeah.
And like River, like he's older, so you can have like a real conversation with him and chat to him about life, and a bit more. He's become a bit more like you don't want to be friends with children. You obviously still got to parent them, but you just have a bit more of like an in-depth conversation, you know,
Yeah.
rather than like mum and dad and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Which I think is nice.
Create that area of comfort to
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
certain
And that's
things.
it. Yeah, I mean, the questions we get asked are just like mad. Like Bodie's the middle one. He's so inquisitive. He just asks so many questions. It's just like, oh mate, where have you got that from? Because that's the thing. Like my whole thing of like believing in reincarnation, like one of my things, and like especially after doing ayahuasca and stuff, I really think about it a lot.
Yeah.
Like to me, reincarnation is like a real thing. Like
They call it rebirth, don't they? in
rebirth. Yeah,
Buddhism?
like our souls are a
Consciousness.
yeah, consciousness, and it just goes somewhere else and comes back and forward, right? And he always talks about like, before I met you and Mum, I knew I was like this, and this, and I had this like connection to it. And then it's almost like, oh, you've been here before so many times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just love all that kind of
Oh mate, that's
element to it.
that's me all over.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a really good book, which I read consistently along with other books.
Yeah.
Is it's a guy called Singyur Rinpoche, and it's the Tibetan book of living and dying.
Right.
Mate, it's phenomenal.
Is it?
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Good word. You have to write that down for me and I'll have a look.
Yeah, mate, it's.
Is it old or is it?
No, it's like old, but not like it's been.
It's not like a new age sort of one, is it?
Yeah, like re-edited or
Yeah,
they bring out like an.
It's sort of written sort of 70s,
rewritten,
60s,
yeah.
70s sort of one, yeah, nice.
But just the way it makes you look at
life,
consciousness, perspective, human emotion, for rebirth, like Buddhism and the impermanence of life.
God, yeah, go
like
full on deep. Very Alan Watts, philosophical. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Alan Watts, yeah. Like,
very into that.
I mean, I take a lot from Sam Harris.
Okay.
I've got his app, and I like listening to him quite a lot as well. Like he's got a special section on there which is just Alan Watts.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he loves him. Really other good speakers and things like that. But yeah, it's a fantastic book.
Yeah, I love all that. So, I mean, that's the thing. I was like meditating this morning. So I've started since I washed. I've been meditating a lot. And I've been trying to do at least half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. And this morning I was doing it and it was just like, oh, I could just stay here for ages.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You get into that and then you're like, and then that's when you start listening to those people, you're like, oh, actually, you could really sort of lose yourself in society as it is.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, but there will be consequences to that.
Yeah, it's like you become a product of your environment.
Yeah.
And the environment of the West isn't what I want to be a product of.
Same, yeah.
So you have to practice pulling away from that.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, it's so peculiar because something that I found hard to do, meditation, is the silence is what I crave.
You crave it?
I crave that time on my own now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel I don't like my day if I don't get an opportunity to sit down with myself.
Yeah. Well, I think it just balances out a lot more. Like, even little things that have changed with me doing it is, for example, like before I did ayahuasca and all that stuff, I would get really bad road rage. So people drive in front of me and I'd scream, I'd shout and be like, oh, like get really angry, right? And afterwards, and from meditating, I've kept it up for like 2 months now. And I'm just like, oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If someone does anything, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Because it's like, it's someone else's, you just let it go. You just don't, it doesn't matter. And you've just got to try and be like that. And obviously not like that all the time, but keeping on top of it as much as possible. Yeah. But it's like being aware, isn't it? Otherwise you could just slip away and sort of be like, I don't know, you just get distracted from what life's actually about, don't you? And I agree with you from the Western values, like, you can just get a bit, like, why do you need that car?
Yeah.
Why do you need that? What does it actually serve you? Like, does it serve you? Do you, it's like the things you won't end up owning you, isn't it? It's all back to all the things we know. We kind of go down that road.
Yeah, it's kind of like what would you have in your life if there was no one else to view it by yourself? So just say there was no one on the planet. What would you really care about?
Is that where have you seen that?
That's kind of like my own like.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You know, I
That's
use
your
just
sort
like
of philosophy on it. Yeah.
a bit of a gauging tool, like.
Yeah.
You know, I want this watch, and I'm like, but would I want that watch if no one would see me wear it?
Yeah. What would you actually want?
Yeah, what would I actually even wear it? Like, well, no, I wouldn't. Nobody can. You know what I mean? I'm wearing it for show, so it's not for me.
No, yeah, it's just because, well, it's like the whole thing, like my whole theory of stuff, and it's like, because so many things like that we need to survive are sort of solved, you know, only in the last sort of 60, 70 years, well, probably a bit longer, say, you've had water, clean water, well, we're very lucky to have that, not all the world is, you've got food, an abundance of food, almost too much, and you've got shelter, so we create other problems to solve.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it's like, actually, for the majority of human history, we spend time running around, going, right, make sure we don't die. And you're like 2 or 3 days away from like, oh, there's no food, there's no this, there's no that. Whereas now you don't really have that. Obviously in other parts of the world you do have that, but we don't have that experience.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just all a bit, when you really step out and look at it, it's just all a bit silly, isn't it? And the fact that so many people starve nowadays is just madness. You know, if everyone in their garden grew food in the front of their garden and food in the back of their garden, no one would starve. That's what they say statistically would work. And whether that, you know, what does that look like? Does that mean our society's set up wrong? Is that capitalism? You know, what is it?
Yeah.
And then it's the whole Bill Hicks thing I love, which is like, have you seen the whole thing he does, Life's Just a Ride? Have you seen that?
No.
It's like, he does a really good speech, and I won't try and do it, and it's like, the world's like a ride, an amusement park, and all this stuff, and then at the end of it, he's like, if we just spend all the money, all the stuff we do on wars, and all the bad things, helping everyone, you'd create a society that's so good that you would all be able to like explore space, inner and outer, for the rest of eternity, and everything would be great. But then is that just like a pipe dream, or is that something that can actually happen? You know? You just get so deep about it.
Yeah.
Like, I get so deep about it.
Oh, man. But it's like we're our own demise because we've created such a fast pace of life.
Yeah.
Like it's normal behaviour now, like you say, for road rage to be just a reaction.
Yeah.
Because like boredom is a thing of the past. So that means that means creativity is a thing of the past because you don't have the option to be bored.
You can't
How
be
can
creative.
you create your own content?
Well, this is what I say to my boys all the time, right? And they're like, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, that's cool. And they're like, I'm bored. It's like, that's a good thing because you can create things that you bring amazing stuff like out. You can create anything, paint, draw, whatever it is, write, think of stuff, like build something, everything's creation. It's like suppresses that, and like, you know, with the advent of certain things, you do have that now.
But there's so much to be said for giving a child crayons and a bit of paper, and just like to create something, then to give them an iPad to watch.
Well, we were like that with Winter when he went to nursery. We've always been like that, making him do that. And some of the teachers, like some of the kids don't know how to hold a pen or a crayon because they've been on iPad since they were younger.
Yeah. Which
is fine, and obviously that's the time we live in. But it's like it's not really good, is it? And it's easily sort of slipped away, isn't it?
I think the devil's in the dose.
Yeah, of course.
You know, how much, you know, with everything, with a lot of things in life, isn't it? Like, you don't really want to feel every evening with that, but every now and again, I don't see there being no harm in, you know, a good bit of fun distraction for kids at all.
No, 100%. 100%. Cool. Feel good?
Yeah, mate.
I'm just going to blast all this out. That's got really nice. That's created like a good texture in your hair. I think just let that do its thing.
Perfect.
Do you want to put anything in it?
Just maybe a little bit. Oh, mate, that feels miles better.
Much better. The thing is, your hair, mate, it now looks like you've got hair. Because before it becomes like, it's almost like you've just got so much hair, it's not hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, actually, you've actually got texture.
Yeah.
Because it just clumps together.
Yeah.
And then your hair's still like 10 times thicker than most people's hair.
Yeah, it looks like I've got a helmet on before, doesn't
it? Yeah. That's why you keep wearing the hat. Right, we'll just put like a little bit of a product in. I'll tell you what we'll do.
Oh, mate, that feels amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like a L'Oreal advert.
Yeah? That good. I think what we'll do then, because that's the thing with yours, it's like to grow it longer, it's one step forward, like, maybe it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Because you take the weight, it feels shorter, but actually the individual hair is still long.
Yeah.
So just getting that, and obviously you want that because once it gets like longer, you'll start to get that texture. But I think we just put a tiny bit of a dry wax in,
Yeah.
a little bit of serum in, and that's it.
Perfect.
Yeah, happy with that?
Yeah, mate.
And I've literally,
Over the
all
moon.
I've done is like cleaned all this up, so it like blends in here, and then you keep this tidy around your ears. So like I do it on mine, where I keep it tidy to like there, so it still keeps it clean. Otherwise, it just goes so fly away that it just doesn't look.
Yeah.
You want an element of like tailoring to it still. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll have to get one of them hats. And then
I got
the
all
joggers are sick.
colours, mate. Yeah, the joggers are good, mate.
Are they like the barefoot ones? That are like good for you? Is that where you got them or not?
I just got these because of my old martial art days.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What martial art did you do?
I did taekwondo,
Yeah.
judo, Shaolin kung fu
Right.
as well. Yeah, did them three all the way up to I was like 16. From
Yeah.
like really young. Did a little bit of kickboxing, and I did jiu-jitsu pre-COVID, and
Yeah.
going back to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I want to get into jiu-jitsu. I've got the boys doing jiu-jitsu, the older two. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Too
Yeah.
much MMA, mate.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% like, I want to get into it, but I've got my boys doing it. They love it. That's the thing, it's like, that's the most natural thing, that when kids like start to fight, they wrestle, don't they? So it's
Yeah.
like, and obviously, if you're, no matter how big, how small you are, if you get someone on the ground and you're good at jiu-jitsu, they're going to
fighting
lose.
up, isn't
They're
it?
going to lose, aren't they? If you're better, that literally is all down to real technique.
So yeah, I start that back up next month.
Nice.
Um,
Where do you do it?
I'm doing, the reason I'm starting back up next month is because my mate who used to do me privates, because the idea is, in a class it's very good, but it's hard to learn, you know, whereas I can get probably a year's worth of classes learning done in like 4 or 5 private lessons.
Really?
With just someone.
Yeah.
So I'm doing, so my mate's back from Canada, so I'm going to do privates with him,
Yeah.
do like 4 or 5, and then go back to the classes while doing privates alongside it.
Yeah.
So I can put
Build your
the stuff I learn in
yeah.
private into practice in the
Yeah.
class instead of trying to learn it in the class.
Do they do? Is it belted like other martial arts, jiu-jitsu? or
I'm gonna do gi and no gi.
not? Okay. Right.
So yeah, like the stuff with the
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just in a
Cool.
t-shirt. Yeah.
Cool. Happy with that?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Nice. Sick.
God, mate, it's a lot that come off, isn't there?
Loads, man. If you enjoyed this content, please give it a like, subscribe, and some comments down below would be amazing. Any feedback you've got, anything you'd like to see moving forward, haircuts or conversations, be much appreciated. Have a great day. From my soul to yours, peace.